learn about it later. But,
okay, well, do you want a quick run-through of what the program entails?
I was going to say, but I would really like to just have a quick rundown so that I kind of know what I'm talking about when I'm visiting with them.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I'll take you through quickly, and if you want to reschedule when the counselors are available, let's do that so that they can see the full capabilities of the program. Let me ask you, what student information system are you using?
We are using Texas.
Okay, perfect. So what I'll show you is kind of what the region is purchasing and what you'll be getting, and then I'll be able to, I guess, give you a little bit of understanding of what the full capabilities of the program are. So I'll jump in and sign in, and one of the things that the counselors will love about our program is we take care of the student data for you. So at the beginning of the year, we'll do a student data upload and get all your students in there. We'll give them usernames and passwords. So from my understanding of speaking to a lot of the other counselors at Region 3, that's one of the biggest pains with Cooter is that they were having to do that manually for each student, and it was really taking up a lot of the time that they have with the students. So that's a big difference that may not be relevant to you, but will certainly ring through with the counselors. And I'll also share that all of our programs are completely bilingual as well. So you can change between English and Spanish with the click of a button, which means that parents, we have a parent portal they can jump in and navigate through in Spanish as well.
Okay.
So when the students first sign on, they'll be able to see their progress on a progress bar. This is important, especially for our Texas clients, because we can customize the requirements of the students for each grade level to the requirements of things like House Bill 5 and House Bill 18, so that it keeps students and staff on track with what needs to be done and what still needs to be completed, what has been done, etc. So it's nice and easy for the students to come in and see what they still need to do and jump to that part within the program without needing a counselor there to hold their hand. So I'll jump in. So we have, obviously, probably what you've been using it for with the 8th graders in the past when you've been using Cooter is they come in, complete a couple assessments, and then do a bit of career research. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. So same idea here. When you jump in, I'll go to one. We have an interest inventory, skills assessment, an aptitude test, as well as a learning styles inventory. The interest and skills assessments combine to generate a list of results that are ranked by suitability based on both the student's skills as well as their interests. So it combines those two, because oftentimes when you get a standalone interest inventory, it doesn't consider the student's actual skills. And obviously students can be really interested in something, but it's not necessarily an area where they're highly skilled. So it's nice to look at it in this way. When they have completed the results, they'll get a list of their top 2 career cluster recommendations. They can also filter out the results by level of education. And if they want to know why a career was recommended or why one wasn't, there's a why or why not feature. So if I click on my top recommendation, which is Human Resources Specialist, you can see right away why this was recommended to me as a student. So you can see all the central aspects of the role, all the secondary aspects, and you can see down the right-hand side, this is how I've responded to each of those things. And if I scroll down further, you can see how my aptitudes tie into the requirements, as well as how my skills that I've reported tie in. So it probably looks quite a bit different than what you're used to.
Yes, yes.
If you want to see what the actual questions look like too, I've heard that it looks a lot cleaner for the student. I'll jump into a different one where we haven't finished all of them. So students can answer as many questions as they want. They'll get a list of results after the first 39, but they can answer up to 116 if they want to taper the results more. And this is what the questions will look like. So how would you like a career that includes, in this case, using a foreign language? And they can answer on a list of 1 to 5 between dislike very much and like very much. And it'll explain what the question's asking to them here on the right-hand side as well. So that gives you a little idea of what the questions would look like for the student.
Okay.
And again, I'm just going to jump back into this one for a minute. So to go through, actually, you know what, I'll show you. Here's one that wasn't in my list of results. So all of the careers are tied into the assessment results. The first page they'll come to when they click on a career is the at a glance page. It's a good starting page for students, especially if you're doing this at the 8th grade level. Not very text heavy, but we've got lots of pictures, videos, little bubbles to indicate specific things like earnings range, level of education required, a quick link to that suitable for you tab. Here's all the videos, some of the core tasks attributes, and abilities. And if they want to explore this in more detail, all of these tabs down the left will take them through everything that's involved in this career. So you already saw that suitable for you tab, and in this case, this wasn't recommended for me. This is a common instance with veterinarians. You can see that the student loves all of the high-level things to do with the role, so interested in biology of animals and plants, they like working with animals, they're interested in chemistry, but if you come down to everything else that would be involved in their day-to-day work, most of that is bright red. So that's why this wasn't recommended, and then when you come down and look at the skills, some of the top skills they don't have. So it's kind of neat for students to get a better understanding of what's included in a career and how that relates to them as an individual. And then, of course, you've got job descriptions, working conditions. If we come down to earnings, this will always be defaulted to Texas. So you can see here I've got entry right up to experienced, wages broken down hourly and annually for me. You can see the career outlook, so how many average annual openings are there, how many openings are expected 10 years from now. If we go down to education as well, you can see all the education and training required. If I want to see related college programs, it's going to take me right to all the schools in Texas that offer these college programs. I can then add additional states if I want to see other states that offer these programs, and it'll take me right to that college program. So it kind of takes the student where they need to be in terms of exploring those careers and that education that's going to get them there. And then one of my favorite parts, and this comes into play a little bit later, is there's a sample program of study for the students. So what courses in general should I be taking in 9th through 12th grade to ensure I'm setting myself up for this college program?
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then if they go down a little bit further, a couple other neat things. There's a sample career path, so they get a better understanding of what their life's going to look like once they graduate. And we've also interviewed a man and a woman in each role. So they can watch the interview, they can hear likes and dislikes, see what a day in the life of this person looks like, see a breakdown of their daily activities, all of those kinds of things to get a better understanding, again, from the perspective of someone who's been in this role for some time. So again, I've never actually had a look at Cooter. How does this compare to
I don't think it
what
does
you?
like that. Not the parts we've bought anyway. It
Oh,
doesn't take that far. It just
excellent.
Yeah, we've only looked at the interest, just at a glance. I look at the district level.
Right.
I use it to make my decisions on which career paths to build up. At our
Right.
high school. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and of course we have a really robust reporting side of things too. I'll jump in there because this is probably more relevant to your role. Is this screen showing up tiny for you? Probably. Here, let me make it a bit bigger.
Yeah.
So you've got tons of reports all down this side. You can run completion reports, portfolio reports, which is where you'd be seeing, for example, the recommended career clusters or recommended careers, so you can build up, here's the recommended pathways. You can customize a report on that and then see where all the recommended pathways for a particular group of students or for all the students are. So you can see where the highest level of interest is, in this case, arts, AV, and tech. And then if you come down, second cluster pathway. So you have all of those reporting things as well, and all of our reports are exportable to Excel, so you can kind of piece together the information that you want to pull out of there. If I jump back to the student side, we also have a whole military career section, which I know a lot of our Texas clients want to see. So we've broken them down by job, family, and service branch, and we've got all of those in there for the students to explore as well.
Okay.
Within our education tab, again, I'm guessing your 8th graders are starting to have a look at what their options are for post-secondary. So students can pick out schools by name, by majors offered. They can take a quick little survey that asks them kind of what they're looking for in a school, and it'll narrow it down to a list of schools that meet those criteria. And they can also compare schools side by side, which is nice if they're kind of wavering between a few. And then within financial aid as well, we've got all of the financial aid information. With the basic version that you currently have, you won't have this local scholarship tab. That's something that comes along with our full solution, but you will still have access to a financial aid selector that will narrow down all of the national scholarships that they would qualify for, and they'll also have all of the federal financial aid information at their fingertips as well.
Okay.
And then, of course, we've got a resume builder, we've got a skill building employment guide, and there's also a work search embedded right into here through Indeed.com. So to stick to the veterinarian example, if I want to find a veterinarian job in, let's say, Austin, you can see what opportunities there are, and it'll take you right to that job posting. So kind of neat that they can search out jobs that they're exploring. So that's everything in a very quick nutshell that comes along with the basic version. To give you a really quick overview of what additional features you would get with the full, one of the biggest things is that we will integrate with Texas. So that means that your student data will automatically be updated without having to do it manually throughout the year. You still get the one data upload with the basic, but it means that any other changes to your students that happen throughout the year, let's say a student leaves or a new one comes in, all of those changes will have to be managed manually. And it also means that we can pull in your students' credit history for course planning. So we will actually get your course handbook or course guide from you, and we'll map out a customized four-year plan for your students to use for House Bill 5. And I understand that a lot of districts are still doing this paper and pencil and then having to manually enter it into Texas. So how does your district do it?
Yes, that's how we do it. We have.
That's how you do it as well? Okay.
Yeah, we have the capabilities with Texas because there's a MyZone component, but our counselors haven't felt comfortable enough using that. So
right, okay.
They do still do it manually.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard the MyZone has its limitations as well, so you end up having to manually do a lot of it anyway. So with this, again, as I mentioned, we'll build it for you. You're not responsible for putting in all the course descriptions and things like that. We'll put it for you, and it'll also pull in credit history. So as you can see, this is what I've achieved in 9th grade. So these are the courses I've taken. Here are my grades down the right-hand side. And the student can really easily come up to the top right-hand side and select a career of interest that they've saved. So let's say architect was in my list of careers that I've saved. I can see what courses I'm supposed to take in a general framework for each grade so that I can then come back to my course plan and build that out. So I can pick a course. Actually, you know what? I want to pick one that has a prereq. So I'll come in and pick my English credit. Here you can see the course description, the course code, any prerequisite courses, and I'll be able to see whether or not I've taken those, indicated by a green dot, which I'm purposely adding one where I haven't taken the prereq. So here I've added that to my plan, and one of the nice features about this too is it'll validate their course selections for them. So this is telling me right away you haven't taken the prerequisite course, so it'll stop me from actually being able to submit this course plan. It'll tell me all the things that I'm missing, which is kind of nice. So it helps the students guide their course selections. Counselors can also customize any important notes or things that they want. So maybe something qualifies for dual enrollment or there's an additional course fee. You can put all of those things in there. Once I do have a full course plan, and these blue notes are those ones that I was talking about. So this one's recommending that students have a 70% grade in the prereq course, which I didn't get. So it's just alerting me to that. I can also track my endorsements. So I can track my basic grad requirements and where I am in terms of graduating. And I can also track, for Texas clients, this says endorsement across the top, and we'll have all your endorsements that are offered listed. I know for a lot of the smaller districts it's only 5, but however many you have and any other pathways you want to track, we can put in here. So, for example, a business pathway. I can see all of the requirements that I have from 9th through 12th grade and how far I am in terms of earning those, and you can expand that to see what I've taken that counts towards that. So they can actually track their endorsements, which is kind of nice. And then when they go to submit this, oh, I'm still missing one credit.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when you buy this for the campus, do you buy it by a certain amount of licenses, or do you buy it for it's a site license?
Good question. So it's per student, and it's just a basic per student rate. So it's $3 per high school student and $2 per middle school student.
$2.
And that's not on, yeah, $3 per high school and $2 per middle school, and that's not on top of what you're already paying. That's just the fee for the full program. So we would prorate that by the $750 that you would be paying for our program.
Okay, because the thing is for the kids that are already in our schools, as far as next year's I'm thinking about high school. Not, I know I'm going to do it for the 8th grade, but for the high school students, really it's very complicated because, you know, in Texas we're in a transitional period. Our
Right.
freshmen and sophomore students from actually next year will be freshmen, sophomore, and juniors. They do the endorsements.
Okay.
House Bill 5, but our
Yeah.
seniors are graduating on the old requirement.
4x4. Yeah.
So my thing is all of those students that are presently freshmen, sophomore, and juniors already have interest inventories and have that data.
Of course.
They would have to take the test to, you know, take a test like that within cruising to get access to these things, correct?
Yes, they wouldn't actually have to take the test. They could just use the course planning component if they wanted to. It's that's completely up to you. Or if you just wanted to exclude them from the pricing, we could do that.
Yeah, we could just start with an incoming group if we wanted to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and that probably makes the most sense.
Right. I would have to, yeah, strategically plan that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you can go ahead. I just wanted to ask that while I was thinking.
Yeah, no, good question. One of the other things I should show, too, is if you come down to cluster possibilities and you hover over a cluster, it shows the students what courses they're taking that are directly relevant to those clusters. So they can keep track of, okay, I've picked, let's say, STEM as my pathway. Am I actually taking courses that are relevant to that pathway? And then once they go, sorry, go ahead.
Can you click like on that STEM in the cluster? Like I want to see how that STEM is designed on the career cluster piece. Yes, because I'm assuming that a district would put in what they offer that's related to that.
Yes, yeah, and we do that. Again, we take care of that when we're doing the initial setup, so we link those to the specific courses. So when I click on this, it's just giving me a general idea of what careers are related to STEM, but in terms of what causes them to become highlighted, we take care of that when we map out the courses as we're building this course planner for you.
You would look at our course catalog and you would see which things are related to that?
Exactly, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we take care of all the setup, which is nice. A lot of other companies that do offer course planning require you to set up your own course planner. We've noticed that caused most people not to use the course planner because it's just additional work, so we do all of that for you. And then when the student is ready to submit their course plan, I'm happy with this, and I want to submit this to have it looked at, I can hit the submit button. We will keep this locked until you want us to have it unlocked 1 or 2 times a year when they're actually going to be doing course requests. I'll hit submit. There's a little disclaimer saying make sure you've reviewed these selections with a parent or guardian and you understand that once you hit submit that your courses for the following year can't be changed. They'll hit submit and they'll get a printable course request sign-off sheet for their parent or guardian to have a look at and sign off on. So this will have all my credit history listed. It'll have where I am in terms of earning my grad requirements. It'll have my endorsement tracking here as well. And then right down at the bottom, any course requests for that following year, as well as any of those footnotes. Again, things like dual enrollment credits, minimum grade thresholds, additional course fees. Those will all be listed for parents at the bottom, and then there's a spot for the parent, student, or counselor to sign off on.
Okay.
And then these can still be used. A lot of our Texas clients prefer to then, again, so that they're double checking everything, take these and you can export them as well to upload them into Texas. So it's just a much more streamlined way of having a look at courses, planning out courses, making sure that the students are taking courses that are relevant not only to the careers that they've explored, but also making sure they're fulfilling their endorsements within that plan, and that they're actually taking courses that are relevant to the pathways that they're following. And then on the back end, what's really nice is for you, you'll have a whole slew of course planning reports. So you can use this for staff projections 4 years out. You can do student count by courses year by year. You can do a course selection summary so you know how many students are taking which course in any given year. You can see who's actually submitted their course, who's still outstanding. And I don't know, is it you that has to code the students for the PEIMS report?
The counselors code them, but I check them.
So we customize a PEIMS report for you, aligning with how you code the students. So it'll actually code the students for you. You can see down the far right-hand corner, that's the 0, 1, or 2. If they are coded as a 2, it'll label the sequence, and you can actually see if you hover over any given student what courses that they're taking that are counting towards their 0, 1, or 2. And again, this is all exportable to Excel, so that's a huge time saver. The only other thing that I'll show you really quickly, as I mentioned, you get a local scholarship database with the full version. You also get a college application tracker. So for your juniors, seniors, the ones that are going to be starting to think about applying to college, you'll have an application tracking tool where you can click to add a college. You just hit the plus button, add a college. It'll populate the all of the information that the student needs for the college. So application status, the date, deadline and submission method, all the application requirements for the school. They can click to attach files that they want to attach to the school. So maybe I've done an essay that I want to come back to. And then you can click to actually request that a transcript be sent to the school. So for the student, all they see is, thanks, your transcript request has been sent. On the back end, you'll have a transcript dashboard. Whoever is the one in charge of taking care of transcripts, I'm guessing it's the counselors as well. They'll have kind of like an email dashboard, but for transcripts, so I can see all the transcript requests that have come in. And they'll also get a daily email that will compile all of these transcript requests for them. For out-of-state, they can actually just go in and send those transcripts right away electronically. Obviously, in Texas, it's a little bit different because all of them have to go through T-Rex, so they'd still manage those ones the same way, but it's just a nice, cleaner way of seeing all of the transcript requests that have come in and being able to manage those electronically versus having to worry about students coming in and losing track of where the transcript request has gone.
Okay.
And then lastly, we've got the ability to request letters of recommendation to be written right online. We actually make the students do a little bit of homework. They have to fill out a brag report. And you can customize these questions however you want if you want to make them specific to your district. But basically the student talks about what they're proud of, plans for the future, et cetera, and then they share that with a teacher or counselor, and the teacher or counselor can then write a letter of recommendation related to that.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. And then lastly, there's an NCAA tracker to keep students on track in junior, senior year with everything that they need to do. So for example, the very first task in junior year is to jump into the Eligibility Center and register.
Okay.
So I guess that's, I'm sorry, I know you wanted a really quick overview. I've probably given you far too much information, but you can see it's a lot more robust with the full program. One of the biggest things, too, that I think comes along with it that I've heard helps districts be successful is you'll get what we call a success manager that is assigned to the account. So they'll reach out on a regular basis just to see how things are going with the program, provide you with additional resources if you need them. They're also there just as a consult for you if you're having trouble running reports or you need them to put something together for you. And it's also a Texas specialist, so they're in tune with all of the requirements in Texas. They can share additional resources with you like local references and anything. So it's just a person that's there kind of with you along the way versus just kind of having the program but nobody to chat to about how to most effectively use it.
Okay.
So you'll also get that individual as well. So I will stop chatting at you now. What are your thoughts on this? I know you still need to chat with the counselors and see what they say, but
For sure. I mean, I have to have their buy-in or we can't do it. So that's why it's important that they get to see some of this. But I can share as much as I can. I want to, let me ask you this. So the robust, the whole big piece program is $3 per high school student or $2 per junior high. What is the basic version's cost?
The basic version is $750 for you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You cut out.
It's a flat rate $750 per license for you. So right now on the basic, that's what the licensing fee is, and I believe that's the same that you were paying for Cooter.
So $750 for my junior high, or my 8th graders.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. All right. All right. Well, let me ask you this: if I get an opportunity to visit with my counselors, is there a website I can go into to show them some of this and walk through some of it with them myself?
There is, and I thought you might ask that. So I've been recording this presentation as well. So if you want to share the link to this, they can have a look at exactly what we've just gone through.
Perfect. Okay, that would be great.
Excellent. Well, I thank you so much for your time. I'll send this along to you. I'm just going to convert it into a YouTube file so it's in a more watchable format, and I'll send it on to you. And are you there all summer?
I am here to the end of June, and then I come back and begin August. So I'm out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that's good. At least you get some holiday time. Perfect. Well, let me send this along to you. I'll follow up in a couple days. Sorry, I just dropped something on my desk. I'll follow up with you in a couple days before you're off, and just in case you have any questions. But yeah, please send this along, and I look forward to working with your district.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.